After midnight rooftop greenhouse promise on the plant tag. The rooftop greenhouse above the old garment building keeps its own weather. After midnight the vents whisper, the misters pretend to be generous, and the city outside becomes a diagram the leaves refuse to study. I rode the freight elevator up with my phone face down in my palm like a coin I wasn't ready to spend and slid it into my left pocket, the pocket I use for things that are supposed to make it home. A key turned. The door sighed. Warmth and chlorophyll took my better arguments to the corner and had a talk. Back home, Marcus had said, "Can we talk tomorrow?" in the voice that means please stay now. Our couch is good at licensing theatrics. If we sit at opposite ends long enough, it swears us in. I left before either of us rehearsed perjury. Halfway down the stairs, my screen lit with a message from Adrian and my contacts. In the way I label hazards to make them smaller. Greenhouse. Just talk. Roofs forgive nobody in daylight. Humidity pretends it will. By day, I fix other people's paragraphs. By night, I try not to turn my own into weapons. Marcus and I keep a code that works when we remember it. T means come here, you awake. Means I'm scared. Tomorrow means not yet, but don't go far. Adrian drifted back into orbit 2 months ago wearing a horticulture badge, unzipped one too many, and a laugh that sounded like a glass agreeing to be set down gently. He didn't ask for anything. That was how I started bringing him everything. He stood among the tomatoes like a rumor of summer, collar open, sleeves pushed, palms nicked with green. He didn't smile with his mouth. He let the corners of his eyes do the moral work. "You came," he said, "because grown men never tire of pretending arrival is a plot twist." "I came to return something," I said. "My keycard, your sense." "Your name," I said. "It's been on my mouth too long for its own health." He reached for a blank plant tag, the plastic kind with a notch, and a grease pencil that had learned to keep secrets. He set both on the potting bench where potting soil kept the old religions. "3 words," he said. "Why are you here?" 3 words is cruel. That's why they work. He drew a tiny square on the tag as if to give the words a room of their own. No speeches in humidity. People faint. I wrote proud at breakfast. Beneath it, smaller like a fuse I might or might not light, touch before arguing. He read the graphite as if it had a temperature. He didn't touch me. His hand hovered a breath from my lapel, the distance a match keeps during training, and fell away like the ferns had a vote. "Does he know?" Adrian asked. He didn't need to weaponize the pronoun. "He knows the apartment is quiet," I said. A mister snicked on and pulled lace from the air. He stepped into my weather, heat arriving before hands do when men are trying to be better than their appetite. "Tell me no," he said softly, and almost made it sound like mercy. I didn't. I met him in the inch that rewrites evenings. His mouth tasted like mint and something bright from a stem. When his hand found the back of my neck, his grip remembered humane limits. My body answered like a courtroom that wants the witness anyway. He made the sound men make when a small country surrenders and calls it diplomacy. I made the one I've learned not to hate when it belongs to him. We didn't rush. Plants reward patience. His mouth found the hinge of my jaw. Mine found the line behind his ear where regret loses vocabulary. His palm slid under my shirt and rested flat a second. "Do you swear?" Then moved with attention rather than appetite. He guided my hand down with the steadiness of someone who respects tools. I closed my fingers and he exhaled into my mouth a truth nobody paid to hear. He reached for me and I let him. We stayed quiet because glass prefers prose. The tomatoes pretended to mind their own fruit. "We already cheated," he said when breath remembered employment. "We cheated when we started telling each other the truth before we told it at home." "I know," I said, and a drip found the tray and stamped a small passport. He slid the plant tag into my left pocket with ceremonial slowness. His thumb traced my wrist once and chose not to stay. He stepped back the moral inch that passes inspection. "I booked a room," he said, not triumphant. "Weather report, not prophecy. Refundable. We could stand at a window and not touch for 60 seconds just to prove we remember ceremony. We could keep the do not disturb honest." "I'm tired of being clever," I said. "Clever, a cut flower," he said. "Accurate is a root." He reached into a drawer and produced a novelty magnet shaped like a watering can, ridiculous and perfect, and pressed it into my palm. "For your fridge," he said. "Cold helps letters behave." We walked the rows as if walking could make a different answer. He pinched suckers from a stem with precise kindness. He looked at me with a mouth that had stopped being cruel to itself. "Text me a weather report in the morning," he said. "Tell me if the kettle beat the reasons." "It usually does," I said, "when we let it." He kissed me again, brief, exact, something a planting schedule could keep without lying to itself, and watched me go with the patience of someone who trusts photosynthesis. The elevator smelled like earth leaving its body for the night shift. The crosswalk gave me time. I took it. The apartment offered its square of kitchen light and the fridge's faithful hum. Marcus sat on the floor with his back against the door, sleeves pushed to his elbows, one ankle crossed over the other, the posture manuals use when they draw people who are about to fix things. He didn't ask where I'd been. He tilted his head toward the place beside him. I sat. "Do you want to be asked?" he said, voice steady, not performing mercy, offering it. "Please," I said, because prompts are the scaffolding of my better self. "Are you lonely?" "Some nights," I said. "Not here. Not when you ask first. Not when the kettle outruns the reasons." I took his wrist and placed his hand on my forearm the way he does when he needs to make sure I'm not inventing weather. His thumb traced once and believed me. "I feel useful," he said. "I want to be wanted before I'm useful." "Tonight's procedure," I said. "Touch first, argue second, report later." The kettle clicked like a stamp in a country that still believes in mail. He poured water over mint. We named it dinner because names are cheaper than regret. I pinned the plant tag beneath the watering can magnet so Proud at Breakfast faced the room. Marcus read the graphite and his mouth did the smaller, braver thing. He took the dry erase marker from the cup by the fridge and wrote beneath the magnet, "Tomorrow, keep the torque." He didn't grin. He nodded like a man assembling a morning from honest screws. We made a rule that isn't noble. When prosecution tries to wear a bathrobe, one of us says greenhouse and the other puts the kettle on while the first puts his hands where history can find them. 5 words when 5 are enough. Stop at the shoulder, not the ditch. Try to want what we promised, and when we don't, write 3 words on small paper and tell the room where we failed and how we'll fail differently tomorrow. Days do what days do when you're trying to be an amateur human with professional consistency. The tag in my pocket learns the shape of my left hand. Paper learns its carriers. On the late bus, I draft messages to no one that begin I didn't ask because I thought that counted as kindness and end may your breakfast go right. I don't send them. The not sending feels like a skill borrowed from glass that refuses to fog unless you breathe on it. A week later, afternoon tries to be a test. I walk past the building and buy nothing. I leave a bottle of water by the freight door with a note, "For whoever is waiting for a sister." The night porter glances up and gives me the nod bridges use when they've held and will hold again. On my way home, I slip a blank tag into my pocket and write "Turn toward your name" across the clean side. I don't light anything. That night we eat toast like it has been newly invented. We fail and fail differently and fail in ways that don't require anyone to stand under glass pretending to know which vine will save them. The room does not demand a verdict. The morning remembers its job. And when we say tomorrow out loud, it means only what we let it mean.